Thank you for your speech. And how do you maintain your marriage? And do you think in 21st century that not getting married is good? And because if your wife wants to do some surgery and you need to sign your name. And the next question is, do you face any problems in your marriage that if you want to divorce?
Oh, that's the question.
Wait, this is being recorded?
Yeah.
Is it going online?
Yeah. May not be. Yeah, it can be selectively. Yeah, you can ask him.
You can turn that off if you want.
Yeah, it can be cut off. No problem. Yeah, just no problem. This can. Yeah.
No. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do I try and maintain my marriage? I think number one thing is that I recognize that it's important to maintain my marriage. You know, it's like if you drive a car, you need to maintain it. You need to go for regular like checkups, etc. And so before we got married, we had pre-marriage counseling, and we got to know each other much better. We learned about all the challenges of getting married. I mean, money is a huge thing. Children, parents, the in-laws. Sex and faithfulness within a marriage relationship, and communication. Making sure that we could communicate issues that we have. That there was nothing which we weren't able to talk to the other person about, for example, and respect and love. So before we got married, I think we tried to make it easier for us. By talking about things that might be difficult, and then in marriage, then we also regularly read books about marriage. We are part of a couples group, so once a month we meet up with other husbands and wives, and we talk about challenges and difficulties that we might have in our marriage. And we like maybe read a book together or watch a class. Like a video series that talks about marriage, and just addresses some of the problems that we might be facing. So I think we are quite intentional in constantly learning, learning about the other person, enjoying time together, doing things together. So I try to make sure that we do spend like an afternoon once a week, one evening. It's harder with a baby. So as soon as you start having children, then it's a little bit trickier. But still, we try to spend time together. So yeah, it does take time. It does take effort. I might be more successful, in my career if I didn't spend so much time. But then again, if my marriage fails, then it would also really affect my career as well. So it's kind of like a balance. It's like, people who, like especially men, sometimes they can be spending all their time trying to be more successful, climbing the corporate ladder, and so they neglect their families. And then they get divorced, and maybe they lose half their property, they lose their house, they lose their kids.
Bezos.
Sorry?
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's no longer number one richest guy in the world. Yeah, probably because he spent too much time on his work, than on his family. So yeah, I think recognizing that sometimes it's a sacrifice. I can't travel that much. Whereas before, then I'll be traveling internationally, going for a conference for a week, a month. But now, my wife doesn't want me to be away from home ever. I mean, fine coming here, but not overnight. Maybe like 1 or 2 nights. Yeah, so definitely, it means constantly asking, me asking her, what do you want? What do you like? And even if it's something I don't want, it's like, okay, I'll try and do what you want as opposed to what I want. But then hopefully she does the same thing. It's like she also thinks, okay, what do I want rather than she wants. And 21st century, whether or not to get married, you know, I'll say that if you know, if you're not happy being single, then you may not be happy being married. And so I say that you need to be emotionally healthy, such that you can be happy single. Otherwise, you'll bring all those problems into marriage. And so, oftentimes, you know, people who don't have a happy marriage, I think there are usually two reasons. Number one, they don't see the importance of trying to maintain their marriage. They don't work on their marriage. I think that's one reason. Number two is because they have so many problems themselves. You know, so you have a highly, you know, emotionally unstable person enters into marriage, and then they have an unstable marriage. So yeah, I'd say you know, work on yourself first. You know, if you are any one of those things that I mentioned just now, then I'll suggest that you try and overcome those issues first. Otherwise, you don't want to bring them into marriage. You know, you don't want two unhappy people together, because it becomes doubly unhappy. You know, it's better to be unhappy single. Yeah. Because you know, at least you're not making someone else unhappy all the time. But otherwise, I would strongly recommend, in fact, for you know, all of us to try and you know, make yourself emotionally healthy, such that then you can have an emotionally healthy marriage. Because you know, society is built upon healthy families. You know, otherwise human beings would be dead. You know, in one generation, if no one had kids, then there'll be end of humanity. So you know, we need to have healthy families, but healthy families start with a healthy individual. You know, if you're happy and healthy, and you know, that's kind of what I mainly pray for my kids. I pray, Lord, I pray that they'll be happy and healthy. You know, whether they're successful, you know, whether my children, you know, get into the best schools, or you know, whether they have good jobs, you know, that's very secondary. Most important, you know, they're happy and healthy, and you know, that will mean a happy and healthy family, and that also mean a happy and healthy society as well. So, has there been anything that has made me want to get divorced? Not seriously, yeah. No, I mean, there have been times when I kind of wondered whether I could have married someone else. You know, whether maybe I made the wrong choice. You know, maybe I should have married a woman who was rich, so that then I don't have to work. I mean, yeah, that'd be great, right? Yeah. But then on the other hand, I'm thinking, no, actually that would be terrible. You know, have you watched Crazy Rich Asians?
Show part of it in class.
Right, exactly. You remember the husband of the older sister? You know, the guy who ended up you know, being unfaithful, because his wife was just so rich and successful, and nothing he could do could, you know, make him feel, you know, equal to her, and that's a problem. Yeah. So I marry a rich woman. All my life, I'm going to be feeling inferior to her. So nah. I think it's much better to actually, you know, work in order to earn, you know, the money that then provides for the family, because then that gives you a sense of self-respect. You know, I can say to my kids, they'll say that, hey, do you know the value of money? You know, do you know the value of it, of what you're using, of what you're buying? You know, it's the work that goes into it. You know, and so, you know, I think it's a good way for one to, you know, be able to you know the value of things. And so, yeah, there again, I think even though sometimes I'll imagine, so like what it might have been like if I'd married a girl who drives a Ferrari, but then on the other hand, I think it's much better for me to have the sense of achievement and self-respect of having earned and worked my way up, as opposed to depending upon my wife's family. So yes, the answer is no. In the end, yes. And certainly not divorce, because divorce is terrible. My best friend, he got divorced, and he lost his kids, he lost his house, and when I met up with him, he was not happy. So definitely, I have not seriously considered divorce, because that would be the most harmful and hurtful thing, and which is where we really need to be learning from the past of commitment in a day and age in which divorce was almost impossible.